This is the Ask Faleskini podcast, where the modern economy is discussed from a skeptic's perspective. Mr. Faleskini helps you distinguish what is sustainable in our economy and what isn't. Not everything that glitters is gold, and not all mud is dirty. The podcaster Mr. Faleskini provides no-nonsense advice. He had it all, lost it all, went bankrupt multiple times, and is now attempting to come back from zero with sustainable growth. There are numerous coaches and preachers on the internet that preach about positive thinking and how life is all roses if you just care to see it that way. Well, Mr. Faleskini is definitely not one of them. We recommend you ask Faleskini to keep it real. He discusses the darker side of the current economic reality, the side that's more important for your personal and business finance. His first intention is to help you keep what you already have. Not to be a complete party pooper, Mr. Faleskini will also hint at the earning opportunities in the economy today. In order to please the almighty algorithm, please like, share, and subscribe. And now it's time to start taking notes. The mic goes to the podcaster, the one and only Mr. Faleskini.
Welcome to the Ask Faleskini podcast with a guest. I'm proud to present Matej Mihelic from Bangkok, Thailand. Matej works with individuals and teams on the aspect of high performance. That is in high performance in sports, business, and education. He started his professional career as a strength and condition coach of professional tennis and football teams, where he fell in love with sports psychology. In 2015, he moved to Singapore and got certified as a professional certified coach under the International Coaching Federation. He's running corporate wellness programs, retreats, and helping clients through his hybrid 360 coaching practice. Matej, please tell us more about yourself. What is your story?
Hello, Peter. Thank you for a nice introduction. It's great to be here. It sounds nice when you say Matej from Bangkok. Currently, I'm in Bangkok, moving to Phuket next week, where I run my wellness retreats, where I coach my clients. But as you said, I have hybrid practice, which means I work online and face-to-face. I started as a fitness trainer, but because I was an athlete myself, I was training handball, then I was training martial arts, and always had these flirts with sport. And I found myself enjoying working with athletes. And then as I educate myself more and more from that field, I'm talking now about strength and conditioning, physical preparation of athletes, tennis players. I got linked to one tennis player from Ljubljana, Slovenia, and we did amazing pre-season, like 2 months. And everyone was like, wow, who is this Matej? So actually, that was the start of my SC, like strength and conditioning journey. Then I got another one and another one. Then I obviously learned more of like tennis background, understand like more of lateral movements, more explosiveness, mindset of individual athlete, and so on. And on the end, I would work with some of best world tennis players. We were like ATP finalists. I was on the Grand Slams main draws as a coach, and it was an amazing experience. And I found my talents in observing people from the distance and kind of create the plan to improve. So I left tennis and I add also football, which is a bit different because it's a team sport, obviously. And then so dynamics are a bit different in maybe like communication and so on and so forth. And actually, I was also a part of physical strengthening, very, very curious always about the mindset, because the difference between average and top players, it was not in their strength and endurance, but it was really in their mental agility and attitude, I would say. And back then we would practice visualization and meditation and seeing yourself from far and so on and so forth, and was more and more curious, to say. So that is when I started with my shifts into like more like psychology side. And as you said, I moved to Singapore, working there 5 years, build my network, dive deeper into executive coaching, working with high-level executives. And these are my clients now. So I travel the world running these retreats and work with great people.
Thank you. I would like to know more how this transition from, let's say, from the gym and wealth studios came to teaching C-levels executive. You're famous for coaching a couple of millionaires and even billionaires in Singapore. How did this transition happen? Was that a natural procedure or process when you first met them at the gym and then helped them with their mental issues? How did this transition happen? You explained that you were curious and that you learned a lot. You also got certified as a coach during that time. How did the transition happen? How did you get new clients that are not just inclined to get in shape? Let's simplify it.
Yes.
How did you then got clients for performance, for general performance in their life, in their business?
Great question. Thank you. It's quite linked, right? Like I was curious and I'm a great listener. I would say I'm a great listener, and are higher on the ladder are less of people would be authentic and real with them. For example, if you're a leader leading a company of thousands of people, everyone would just tell you what you want to hear. So when these leaders sometimes hear somebody who would ask some open-ended questions and maybe tell them what they need to hear without much of a fear of attachment, it would trigger their own coach in them, if I can say like that, because these people are there for the reason. These are very smart and growth mindset people. But to go back to your question, how the transition happened is actually very interesting, because why I started also with this flirt to be executive coaches, I wanted to go out of the gym and wear a shirt. I wanted to wear a nice shirt and be more like them, you know, but I don't have this 20, 30 years of corporate experience. So I had to find my own way, right? But I tell you something, there is no much difference between Cristiano Ronaldo and Elon Musk. They both are high achievers with their, I would say, expectations, goals, and things that keep them awake at night, right? So I mean, it's about the person. It's really about the person itself. So also when I coach a person, even if I coach a leader of the big company, I don't coach the company, I coach the person. So I believe it's quite natural transition.
Okay, thank you for this insight. I would like to ask you another thing that really intrigues me, and I will also like to spark some controversy on this topic, because there's a lot of controversy. Are you born as high achiever or you become high achiever? Can an average person with a good coach become high achiever?
Wow, man. Let me meditate on that. No, I'm joking. It's like a big question, for sure. As a coach, I believe that everyone has this genius within. Like, yes, of course, there is an environment that shapes us. There are people in our childhood that shape our belief system. But actually, through coaching, you can tap on this belief system and you can evoke awareness and change. But it's not that easy, obviously. If I will talk about from my side, because I don't want to talk for others, but like from my side, there are many things that affects my evoking awareness. For example, environment is one of them, right? So everyone with willingness and readiness, it's for everyone that has willingness to work and readiness to work. Yeah, it's possible to change for sure. If I wouldn't believe that, I wouldn't work.
Yeah,
as a coach.
I would like to intrigue you. So,
yes,
can an average person just become above average? Because I'm a firm believer that if you work on simple task or on any task whatsoever, like an hour a day, that in 1 year you become better than 95% of the people.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will challenge you now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm certain that everyone can become above average. But can an average person, without the right environment, without some, let's say, family predispositions, become high achiever and achieve not above average, but let's say top 1% status in certain either sports or industry?
I would say no. With when you mention like environment and family background, obviously, when we are born, the stage is ready, and actually, environment with our parents and adults, whoever, like authority, shapes our belief system, right? And then it's a bit controversial because they're like, you see, for example, you mentioned 1 hour a day is 360 hours a year, right? So it's a lot, right? But then it's very important to understand like who you are on deeper level, if I can start going there, right? It's like if you are staying on the surface level and just going through the motion or in your trance or your autopilots and just following your belief system, you will only be as successful as environment and your parents shaped you, if that makes sense.
Okay, so environment is extremely important. We know that we can influence and change the environment, or we can just move into another environment. So you moved, for example, from Europe into Singapore, and then this shaped you a lot because in an instance you came from, let's say, small-time business people, an environment of small-time business people into environment of global leaders. How did this transition change you and your view of the world?
I think I crave more for deep, meaningful conversations because of that. Like when I'm in the room with people who are curious, ambitious, vulnerable, playful, it's fun, it's meaningful, and I feel good. And in Singapore, I had opportunity to talk to 5 or 10 people like that on daily basis. I'm not saying that you can't find these people back home in Slovenia, but just the pool is much smaller, right? And you see, I got some of this in the sport. So Slovenia has amazing sport, and through you see, I was actually craving for that long time ago. And I was in the room with Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic, and I observed them, how they train focused, and I talked to their physiotherapists and trainers. And, it's like I found my way to be in these rooms, right? So, yeah, definitely. When I'm like in the mountains of Slovenia or in the beach of the Phuket, where not many of these people are, right? It's not a corporate environment. It's great. I need that, but a big part of me also have to get this injection of this world. So I think I always need both, kind of.
Okay, thank you. And now another question that always intrigues me. A lot of people are now going to YouTube to check videos on certain topics, like this video that will be published on YouTube, and they also read a lot of self-help books. How far can high achiever come with videos, and how far with books, and how important is to get a coach and coaching session where you will compare yourself to other people that would like to improve their performance, or even get an individual coach that will help you improve your shortcomings.
Nice. I always like to talk about that because I don't read books on daily basis, and I feel why I like coaching and also psychotherapy, psychology. I like these things because it's about experiential learning, right? I give you an example. It's different if you read the book versus write a book, right? The guy who wrote the book actually experienced what he wrote on this book. And then I can read it. Yes, I can learn from it, and I can forget it. But when I get aha moment in this, if I get some shifts from my own perspective, it's very different. It's experiential. You feel it in your body. It's like you own it. So for me, as a coach, I really try to make sure that through the process, my client would always hold the ownership of the conversation and transformation, take responsibility and hold the ownership, because that will be then long lasting. Yes, there are easy fix. You can watch video, you can make a new tattoo and be motivated to go to the gym every morning at 6 a.m. But I tell you something, as a personal trainer, some of my clients, when they got their six-pack after 3 months of eating something that they don't like, they said, now with my six-pack, that's the worst times of my life. But I have 8-pack for 20 years and more. For me, 6-pack, it's boring. I want 8-pack only, right? But because it's easy for me, that's super easy. I mean, for me, very difficult to have 6-pack. That's difficult for me to be fat, to be slow, to have headaches. That's difficult. For me, it's very easy to keep healthy life and to learn, because that's my lifestyle. So it's very important that we align our values and our values, our deeper meaning with the actions then, right? Something like that.
Okay. So in order for our listeners, what is the shortest way to improve their performance?
The shortest way?
Yeah. What would you suggest to our listeners that are listening to this podcast and would like to improve their performance? What is the best way to go forward? What should they do first? Where should they start?
Like, very first, just relax your neck and bring yourself into the present moment. where you can then ask yourself some questions like, why is it even important for you to work on yourself? And make it very, again, meaningful for yourself, instead of being distracted with this and that from I don't know how many thousands of informations out there.
Sorry to interrupt you. So
yes.
The first thing to start with when you're going into improving your performance and starting your transformation is to understand the reasons and why do you want to do this transformation? Why do you want to improve your performance? What is the reason that is? Why are you doing that, or why would you like to do that?
Yes, you see, clarity is definitely something that will help you finding your direction, right? So if you are clear on who you are, what you want, where you want to go, you will also understand what is on your way, what's stopping you, what would be the potential barrier, and then how to overcome that, right? So it's the clarity at the beginning before you then practice.
How do you achieve this clarity? Because, for example, when I was overweight, I would always say, I'm not so much overweight. There are people that are more obese than I am. So how do you achieve this clarity? What is the point that you can relate to? Should I be super athletic? Should I be super smart? What is the benchmark? How should I compare myself? What should I compare myself to?
Wow, I'm just thinking now where to go, because I feel like I want to share some insights from, let's say, my clients that are like having these questions, right? It's like, when I coach my client that wants to lose weight and lose their belly, yeah, of course, like, how would you like to see yourself 3 months from now? But actually, for me, I rather dive more into like, how do you feel when you sit in McDonald's and eat your hamburger? Or why now? Why not 5 years ago? Like, I don't want to stay on the surface level. Okay, tangible, measurable. Let's go. 3 months, push, pull. Like, you can read that anywhere, everywhere. But I would really like try to understand the bigger picture, right? Like, what is his struggle? Like, what is stopping him? Like, who is he, right? Things like that.
Okay. So is it possible for our listeners to do it on their own? Are there any questionnaires or quiz or something that they should take? Or do you propose that they go and talk to someone and get a coach that will help them find a clear picture of who they are?
Nice. Like, I think everyone has an answer within. Now, how to find this answer? Obviously, it's many different directions. But like, how often do you actually set the meeting with yourself? How often do you stop when you are brushing your teeth and you have a short conversation with yourself? How often do you actually stop and pause and bring yourself into present moment and meditate? How often do you visualize your best version? Right? It's like, yes, choose a coach, choose a mentor, read a book, of course. But I think too many people are going very fast in this fast world, I would say.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else you would like our listeners to take from this interview? Can you share any quick tips or trade secrets with our listeners?
Nice. Yes, definitely. Like, you see, there are many levels that are happening constantly within, right? We can, like now when I'm talking with you, this is kind of, I would say, surface level. Like in process-oriented psychology, they call it consensus reality, for example. Like, and then there is like deeper levels, like dreamy levels, where we actually are like full of some signals, where like body symptoms, like movements, like feelings, and very often people are blocking going there. So I would invite people to just use their body and their sensors and just be present with themselves on this maybe somatic or kinesthetic level. And what that means is just slow down and like be present in the moment. Now, as I'm talking to you, do I feel my elbows resting on my chair? Do I feel my back touching my chair? And where do I feel actually anything? Like, okay, is it in the stomach? Is it in my chest? Now I'm performing, it's a public speaking. I feel a little bit in my head. So I invite the listeners to maybe practice and give more space for the feelings, because they are the signals that they are there for the reason. And I think this one is quite essential, because if we are gonna give space and welcome the stress that is so popular these days, and if we are gonna welcome that, I'm sure if we're gonna be curious about it versus judgmental, we can learn so much from it, so many creative processes behind. But we need to definitely be more patient and willing, again, have this willingness to work. Because on the end, I believe for me, life is about work, working on yourself and others. So I would welcome everyone to the work.
Thank you for these insights. Would you please tell our listeners where they can find you or reach out to you?
Obviously, Instagram and Facebook. On Instagram, I am Coach Matej. I have LinkedIn profile. I have website, coachmatej.com. First conversation is just a discovery call where we can just introduce each other and see if we are like linked to work together, and everyone is welcome.
Thank you. I will include all the links in the description below.
Thank you so much,
Matej, for being my guest today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Faleskini, for this outstanding podcast. And thank you for listening to the Ask Faleskini podcast until the end. Mr. Faleskini would love to hear your feedback in the comments. And don't forget, if you want to know, ask Faleskini or listen to the Ask Faleskini podcast. In order to please the almighty algorithm, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.